Hi, welcome to the Spiritual Connection Show. I'm your host, Katie Augustyn. So I'm a transformation coach, I'm an energy healer, I'm a shamanic practitioner, and I'm the spiritual head of the Transformation Center CT, which is located in Westport, Connecticut. So at the center, we do a variety of, we have workshops, different trainings. Every month we have satsang, which is Sanskrit for in the company of the truth. And it's just a really peaceful evening to spend doing a little meditation, a little chanting, a little talking. And we do that generally the third or fourth Wednesday of each month. And also now, each month, we're doing a shamanic clinic, which is an opportunity for you to come and find out what shamanism is about and just get a little 30-minute session. And it's a community service that we're offering for a small donation. So we'd love to see you at one of those. You can check it out on the website, transformationcenterct.com. So the Spiritual Connection Show is all about connection. It's about it's an opportunity for us to connect with each other, as well as for you to connect with the guests that I have and learn more about yourself that way and find out what they do, which can help you on your spiritual journey. So welcome to the show. We're glad you're with us tonight. So my guest tonight is Maria Amore Davis. Welcome to the show, Maria.
Thank you so much for having me. It's a pleasure to be here.
I'm really glad you were able to come tonight.
Thank you.
So I'm going to just say a little bit about you for our audience who doesn't know you. So I'm going to read what you sent me. And it's a lot. Maria does a lot of different things, as it turns out. So she's a teacher, a healer, a Reiki Master and teacher, and also a Karuna Reiki Master and teacher. And we'll hear a little bit about what those differences are. An IET practitioner, we'll find out more about that, as well as an ordained minister, a tarot card reader and teacher, and a cooking teacher. Oh my gosh, so many cool things.
Yes, it's fun. I keep busy.
Yeah, well, we do have a lot to talk about tonight, don't we?
Yes.
But before we start, I always ask my guests, the first question I like to ask is, can you tell us a little bit about your spiritual journey, like how you got here, where you started maybe, anything you want to share?
Sure. I think the very beginning for me was when I was 7.
Okay.
And I've heard people say this before, they get a message when they're young or they can tell something, but I got this message that I wasn't going to see my sister again. I thought I didn't know what that meant. And it turned out I didn't see my sister again. And that was a clear-cut message of getting a download about something.
Yeah.
It didn't scare me at the time, but the reaction of what was going on in the family was the scary part. So for me, I think at 7 years old, I somewhat buried those intuition downloads I was getting, and I tried to bury that for a very, very long time because it was a big thing.
Because people thought it was odd, or what?
No, just because she drowned, and it really wasn't going to see her again.
Oh, okay.
But it was the reaction of everybody around that was the scary part for a little kid.
Sure.
So, buried that, and 30 years later,
wow.
I've always been intrigued. Like, why did I got that, and I didn't know what to do with it, and I didn't want to know what to do with it, so I just kept it down. Meantime, I went to college and I studied music education and loved being a music teacher in the public schools, and I did that for 36 years. And middle school actually is my favorite level.
Okay.
So anyway, I had fun in being creative that way and teaching children.
Sure.
So I always felt like I've been a teacher at some level.
Definitely.
But there was an illness that came in, not a terrible one, thank God, but something that really set me back. And I think also at that kind of a crossroad, these feelings that I've been burying come back up.
Okay.
And I stopped teaching. And then I got right into the healing energy work.
Oh,
I think it
nice.
was waiting.
Yeah.
And I think that's why that actually, happened with me not feeling well. And I've just enjoyed it. As you spoke about all those different modalities. I'm making up time. I can't get enough.
Yeah, you're really
Yeah,
going.
so I think I am where I should be, but it took me a while.
Yeah, that's so interesting.
Yeah.
You took a little break, but you had a great career and a great life
Yes.
all that time.
Yes.
But now you're really coming into your own, and sounds like this is your passion now, is the healing arts.
It's a passion, and I taught a tarot class last night at Wilton High School, and it's just, for me, I love teaching it.
Yeah.
I really love teaching it. I love doing tarot readings, but the teaching part has been, I think that's what who I am.
You gravitate toward, like you're a
Yes.
natural teacher.
Yeah,
So that really is an important part of your life now.
it really
Sounds
is.
like it.
And people do readings and they don't teach. People do Reiki sessions, but they don't teach. Not everybody. But that's the part that I almost feel more comfortable with. I love it.
So you do both the individual Reiki sessions
Yes.
as well as teach. Do you teach to individuals or to classes? How does that work?
Most of the time it's a class. I've taught individuals, if that's what the schedule happens to be. But it's really, first of all, it's way different than teaching middle school.
I can imagine.
When I first taught my first Reiki class, I'm like, you're all listening to me.
Imagine that.
I was like, wow, this is great.
Oh man.
So,
Do you teach it at a center or at your home or to school?
well, I teach
or
at my home, and I teach Reiki at the Angel Cooperative in Ridgefield,
Oh, okay, great.
and I do sessions at Turning Point Reiki in Ridgefield.
Okay.
But I do both at my house.
So you have options.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
So what is the difference between the regular Reiki and the Karuna Reiki that you're also a master of?
Well, obviously started out with the Usui Reiki, which is Reiki 1, 2, and 3, and you become a Reiki master. The Usui Reiki has 5 symbols, and it's really about healing yourself and others. And I just love all three. All 3 of them have something special. So when you take Reiki 1, you are learning to heal yourself and others, but others in front of you. There's a difference, because Reiki 2, you can do it a different
Distance.
distance Reiki. We can also heal pets with Reiki 1. And that was a wake-up call to me, because as soon as I learned Reiki 1, we got a new kitty. And the kitty, after a couple of months, was almost dying in the corner.
Oh.
Upside down, not hardly breathing. I'm like, oh my gosh, it's a Sunday night. We bring him to the emergency vet right here in Norwalk. Oh my gosh, $1,000 or $2 later, bring him back home. A couple weeks later, right back to the emergency vet again. So we were paying like $3,000 for this cute little kitty.
That's amazing.
My husband says to me, Maria, didn't you just learn Reiki? Maybe you could do something on the cat.
Yeah, no kidding.
So I put my hand on the cat and I said, okay, well, give this a shot. I've never done that. And his issue was with his bladder, and he was getting all blocked and everything. And no kidding, the next day the cat was in his litter box,
That's great.
and I've never had a problem with him since.
It's wonderful.
Now, sometimes Reiki will do that in one session, and sometimes it takes several sessions, and it's
Right.
what I say, we take layer upon layer upon layer
Yeah.
off.
Because it really is an individual.
Exactly.
What blockages they have.
and it depends on
energy.
how long it's been, where the energy is.
Yeah.
But that's Reiki 1. Reiki 2 would be you start learning your sacred symbols, which boosts the energy up, and distance healing, which is really special. And I love that, because you can send it anywhere in the world.
Yeah.
And I love that. And what I was taught with Reiki 2, which I don't believe everybody is cell memory. And cell memory is a technique to get to the root cause of a core issue. And using the symbols, you can get to, if this is a past life issue, or is this something from when you were 6,
Yeah.
and I think that's one of my favorite tools to use, is cell memory.
Sounds really powerful.
And then the Reiki Master is 2 more special sacred symbols, and you learn how to do the attunement and have tools for teaching.
Mm-hmm.
So that wraps up the
I
Usui
see.
Reiki. The Karuna Reiki is another level after that. You have to be a Reiki master to do Karuna Reiki.
I see.
And Karuna Reiki is in 2 sessions, two long days. It really is. And that's an extra 8 symbols. And it has more of a divine feminine feel to it, where the Usui is a little bit more of a masculine feel to it. And it's a really great balance, and you can use them both together.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, I love it.
So in one session, you'll mix them together.
Mix them up. Absolutely. Sometimes I don't. It's like if I get called to it,
Of course.
it's whatever
Yeah.
comes up.
Yeah. Because as I explain to people about energy healing in general, we're just the conduit.
Right.
You know, so
Exactly.
it's what we're guided to do. It's not like us thinking
Yes.
about what we're going to do. You know, so that's what's I think so effective about it. Obviously.
Right. Yeah.
So we're being guided.
Exactly.
Yeah, yeah. All right. So you do a lot of that. Would you say that's your main focus? Is the Reiki, the teaching, or is it all spread out? Because I want to talk about the IET and everything else you do. So I'm just curious as to how it balances.
Well, I took IET, which is Integrated Energy Therapy.
Okay.
I believe I took that after Karuna. And it's another tool. And you could use IET with Karuna, with regular Usui Reiki. And that is angelic energy to help you through your guidance to help heal.
Nice.
And you call upon the angels
Okay.
to work with you. And there's 9 integrated points on your body. And just as an example, the throat chakra is, this area here is for shame in IET. That's what it represents.
Oh.
So when the teacher was showing, I was the guinea pig, and I loved it. How she knew that I needed to do this, you just know, right?
Sure.
She comes up, Maria, can I show everybody how to do, this? So she puts her hand on my neck area, and she starts pulling out through the layers of physical, emotional, mental, spiritual. And as she's doing this, her hand stops. She says, you have a block right here. And she does it again another couple times, and she hits it. And as she pulls through, I jumped and screamed. I felt like a snap in my neck. Now that's energy.
Yeah.
And I said, wow. It's just another way of working with somebody.
Yeah. Well, that's amazing what we can hold on to, isn't it?
Yes. And what you do, she obviously, it's called pulling out that, and then she integrates and she pulls in, a beautiful positive
Yeah,
affirmation.
Yeah. So
So-
how did you feel afterwards?
Fabulous.
Yeah.
Fabulous. But it was so cool to me, I physically felt that. And I've had IET work on me before, and I've done it on myself. I don't always feel that, but just like with that cat, as an example, I always feel we get these, I don't know if I call them divine messages to show you, look, this stuff is great. And that to me was wow.
Yeah, right. It had a double purpose.
Yes,
It was
yeah.
helpful to you, plus it showed you.
It really showed me
the power
wow,
of it.
what this can do.
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah.
So you use that in some of your healings as well. Cool. So I'm also curious about your ordained minister. How did that
Yes.
happen?
Well, that happened through conversation of Reiki. Sometimes is hands-on. Sometimes it's a little above the body, depending when somebody's in front of you. And it was just like it would be very nice to be an ordained minister, just to have it's almost like it's nice to have that while you're working on somebody.
Okay.
It's not like a massage. It's almost like having a massage therapist piece behind you because you're working on somebody hands on. But for me, it was almost a calling to. I got called to do a wedding, and that to me was one of the highlights for me.
Oh wow.
I loved it. I absolutely loved it. I felt like I was back in the teaching mode, but on a wonderful, what an honor.
Yeah.
It was an honor to me. And I love doing it. I'm actually going to be marrying somebody else next spring. So
I think
it was
that's
just
awesome.
another piece. It was almost like the icing on the cake of all that, the healing modalities, and something to I don't know, secure your position.
Yeah, and it sort of rounds things
Yes.
out too
Yes.
in a way that I can see that it brings it to almost a higher level in some regards.
Yeah.
I think that's beautiful, and I think I know what you mean about marrying someone, because it's such a special thing to be not only be a witness but actually have it you creating this.
I loved it. I loved talking to the
helping
couple.
create it.
And really making it special and personal for them.
Yeah,
it was really fun.
that's very cool.
Yep.
Yeah. So that's one more thing that you have that you're learning and also practicing.
Yes.
Yeah. So then next on your list was you're a tarot card reader and teacher.
Now, tarot is actually the first thing I got into before the Reiki.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Well,
I
tell
started
us
out
about
taking
that.
a tarot class, and this is right at the time where I was not feeling well, with that episode. And I was like, no, you have to go to this class. You just have to go. I was like really wanting to take this class. And I worked all day, and I came home and I said, I'm going to go do this anyway.
Yeah.
And I had the time of my life.
Yeah.
It was really fun. I'm like, well, what is this? And I would say, back 30 years ago, that would have scared me. Like, what are these cards? Oh, you shouldn't be touching these and blah, blah. But I didn't feel that way. Thank goodness.
Yeah. Well, you were ready for it.
It took, a long time, as I said, to get to a certain place. But I had such a good time. I couldn't get enough of it. I was reading about every card. I was buying books, Googling it. And then I came up with a system I liked, because I figured I got to teach this. I can't just do tarot. I like doing readings, but I need to teach this.
Yeah,
So
to spread it to more people, right?
Yeah, and we had a ball last night. But I teach it. The first class is about the minor arcana. There's 78 cards in a deck, and it really takes the 2 hours to talk about the minor arcana and your suits.
Yeah, no,
and the
there's a lot
second
there.
class we talk about the court cards. Those are 16 cards, but they take at least 2 hours to talk about it, and many hours after that, after you leave the classroom, because they're really, court cards can be about you, it could be about somebody else.
Right.
They're the people.
Well, isn't it the case that your intuition is really
Yes.
a big part of
Yes,
the whole thing?
it really is.
Yeah.
Like the Two of Cups is going to mean the Two of Cups, but what it means in the question you ask and where it is in the rest of the reading is your gut, your intuition coming into it.
Right. And also individual for the person you're reading
Yes.
as well.
Yes.
So I think, so
It's another tool. It's a divination tool.
right.
And then the last class I teach is about the major arcana, which is the 22 cards,
Yeah.
and the Fool's Journey. That's what I did last night. Loved it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've gotten into, I did the training in tarot fairly recently, a couple months ago, but I haven't yet integrated it into my toolbox, my repertoire of healing. But I feel like I need more practice, basically.
You know what the easiest thing to do is do a card a day. I get up in the morning, I keep the deck right on my night table, and I sometimes get my coffee first, or sometimes I look at the tarot and do that first, depends on my mood.
Sure.
And I just shuffle the cards, and as I'm shuffling, I say, what is it I need to know today? And I turn it over, and I go, okay.
Yeah. So
And it helps you. I think that's a good way to learn them, because
right.
it's not like, oh, I can't do this 3-card reading.
Yeah, it's not too much.
It's not too much.
It's a great idea. Yeah.
But I really love the tarot, and it's fun to do with friends, and
Yeah.
besides teaching.
Yeah, it's always it's so helpful too.
It's so helpful.
People.
To me, tarot is a tool for direction in your life. Or what do you need to know? What do you need to do? You know, people have come to me and say, "Oh, am I going to meet Prince Charming?" You know, they don't quite say Prince Charming anymore,
right.
but I know what they mean. And the question really to ask is, well, what do you need to do to meet Prince Charming? And the cards will lay that out.
Yeah, yeah. It's not a predictor per se.
I don't.
No, I don't.
I
see
know
it that
been.
way.
I think it's been sometimes advertised that way somewhere. You've seen
Really?
them, or fortune telling.
Yeah,
but I think of it as more of direction.
And self-knowledge too.
Yes.
Right.
Exactly.
Yeah, because sometimes we have blinders on, and we don't see what's.
And the cards don't lie.
No.
They really. You know, and sometimes you do a thing and you go, oh no, let me just shuffle that again. But no, you're not supposed to do that.
Right, you get what you get for a reason.
There it is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I think it's a great tool.
I love it.
So that's super. So maybe I can come to one of your classes sometime.
Oh, I'd love if you would come.
check
It's
it out.
really, I love
There's always
teaching
more
it.
to learn,
Yes.
In addition to practicing it myself. So
Yeah.
and I need some practice clients.
Sounds good.
Yeah, so we'll do that too. If you know anybody that wants one.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's, it sounds like you have so much available that you help people with and teach people.
Yeah, it's really funny. I'm retired and I'm busier than when I was teaching.
I can't believe, I know. When I'm reading this list, I'm like, man, I'm
God.
sure you don't have any free time.
I actually do.
Yeah.
I actually do. But
Well, you have a grandson now?
I have a grandson and I watch him one day a week, sometimes 2 days a week.
Yeah, do you love
And
that?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, he's
yeah.
4. I've tried to introduce him to Reiki and he's funny. You know, I think kids, I wish I was introduced to this way younger, And and I love that people who've come to me, and I'm sure other practitioners, see, I call them kids at 20. Well, how lucky to learn these modalities young.
Exactly, I know.
But, Reiki and these other things we talked about, people are really more drawn to them now than ever.
I think so, because I was going to ask you if you see more, like it's more mainstream now. Like when you say you're a Reiki teacher, Reiki Master, Reiki whatever, people know what that is, right? You don't have to explain to them.
Most of the time they at least understand it's some energy thing. They're not quite sure how it, why, whatever. But
yeah, how it works, but they know, they're familiar with the term at least,
Yes.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and I mean, even 10 years ago, I don't think that was the case.
Right.
Yeah, no, people are curious, because before we started, we were talking a little bit about shamanism and how now you're kind of interested in learning about that. And, I did that training just less than a year ago, and I love it. I love doing shamanic healings, and people are drawn to that. So there's more
Yes.
interest in it, especially in our area.
I think this area is phenomenal for these modalities.
Yeah.
Really.
Because we did the shamanic clinic last night, and we had like 17 people
Isn't that wonderful?
sign up. Yeah, in a short time.
Yeah.
It's not like, because you have to take turns, So, yeah, and I think that's it's really gratifying to me that people are open to learning about themselves.
Yeah.
That way.
And that they have so many choices.
Yes.
When I really my first thing was that tarot class, I thought that was it.
Oh, okay.
Until the Reiki and then the Karuna.
Yeah.
And it's like, but it's all here if you want it.
Right, and that's one reason that I wanted to start this show, was to just show people what is available.
Yes.
And not only available, but accessible.
Right.
In our area, and if they're not in our area, like you said, most of this is available by distance. There's a lot of forms of distance healing. And I also do coaching, but I do a lot over the phone. In fact, I do most of it over the phone.
Really? Isn't
Yeah.
that wonderful?
It works better that way.
Maybe, yeah. I never did one over the phone, but I'd like that. I've had
Yeah.
readings over the phone. I've asked for them, but I've never given one. That's interesting.
Yeah, no, it works.
Yeah.
I mean, now, of course, with the technology, you can do it with Skype or
Yes.
really, sky's the limit there, right? Yeah. So that's cool. So the other thing that you do is a cooking teacher.
Yeah.
Want to talk about that a little bit?
Well, cooking is one of my first loves. I remember being, little and couldn't wait to cook dinner for my family. Just loved it. My favorite Christmas present I ever got as a kid was this. It was like these big pie plates or cake pans, and you just put them in the oven. They're done in 3 minutes because they're so small, but oh my God, I was so excited.
Wow.
So I love cooking forever, and somewhere I saw the quote that cooking is a healing art. So again, the word healing's in there. It heals me. If I am going through some time I'm not happy with, I go down in the kitchen and cook. Now some people might not do that, but it heals me.
That's
and
great.
then I feel even more healed when I share it with somebody. I love having people over for dinner. So actually one of the things I've done in the past, I haven't done it in a few months, but I've done tarot dinners.
Oh, how does that work?
Well, it kind of got in my head because I many times have gone with my school friends down in Yonkers. There's an Irish bar, and they have a tea leaf lady there.
Okay.
So my friends, we would have so much fun after work. We would go down to Yonkers, we'd have a great dinner, and you'd go behind this curtain thing, and she'd read your tea leaves. And I said, isn't this perfect? You're getting readings and a great dinner.
Yeah.
I need to do this. I just have to do this.
Oh, wow.
So I started doing it in my home, and the times I've done it is really fun because I have my not the tea leaves. I don't do that. That's something I have to get into. I think.
Yeah.
I think I got to put that on that list. But anyway, I get my tarot cards out, and people would come for dinner, not more than 6, because you just want to have a nice intimate setting. And most of the time, people come with their friends. It's a group. And
Like they know each other?
Yeah, that's what usually works out. Somebody comes, I'm going to have my friends come, and sometimes it's a couple of strangers in there. But they ask questions. We go around the table between courses, and we're laughing, and it's just another fun night.
I love that combo.
It's a fun combo.
That's great.
And I do ask, anybody have any allergies? Anybody have this? And then, oh my God, I'd be getting, I don't eat this and I don't eat that. And I said, okay, we're going to have water, and I have to figure something out.
What is your favorite thing to cook?
For me, it's dessert.
Oh,
I love dessert. But you have to make a dinner.
Make the meal. So are you Italian? Is your family Italian?
Yes.
So did that have something to do with your love of cooking? Did you
I think
you got
so.
it,
I think
got
my
it
grandmother
through?
was really amazing. She cooked without a recipe, the best things I ever ate. I need recipes, but the love of it and the sharing with the family.
Right. I think that's what it is. The whole, you create
It's the
a
whole
community
thing.
and get to share.
But the tarot on top of it is so fun.
Huh.
It really is.
Well, maybe you should schedule one.
We'll schedule one here.
Let me know when you do.
I will.
I think that would be cool. So you're based in Wilton, Connecticut,
Yes.
right? So you do a lot of stuff in Wilton and Ridgefield.
Wilton and Ridgefield, really. So that's where I could be reached.
Yeah. So do you see continuing this for a while? Is there anything else new? You mentioned shamanism that you see for yourself in the near future?
That I almost signed up for a class in that, and then I didn't.
Okay, well, we can talk after the show.
Yeah, well, last year I saw the same course. I said, no, not so. But this year there was maybe, so I don't know.
We'll see, we'll talk.
Maybe it's just because it's with this particular class I saw, it's a year commitment.
Okay, no, I have one that's much shorter.
Oh, okay.
I can tell you that. Well, thank you so much for being on the show. We're going to wrap up now. I really appreciate
thank
it.
you so much for having me. It's my pleasure.
It was a pleasure to get to know you, Maria.
Thank you.
And thank you to our audience for joining us tonight on this episode of Spiritual Connection. I hope you enjoyed meeting Maria and hearing all about what she does. Join us for the next one. And I'm your host signing off, Katie Augustyn. Thanks and good night and blessings. Thank you.